Hello, my name is Brian Welsh and I'm doing a series of videos on what businesses should be looking for or looking out for when they're choosing software solutions. Now, isn't cloud computing absolutely fabulous? It's brilliant, isn't it? It's been around for absolutely years. You can put your data in the cloud, you don't need servers anymore, you can run your telephony off it, you can run anything off it. And these are the sort of companies that have been doing this for a long time, who, when the pandemic hit, didn't have such a big hassle when the Prime Minister announced we should go into lockdown. Now, a lot of other businesses they've worked around it. They've put solutions in place. They've put technology in place that allow them to still run, even if they're not running true cloud solutions. Some of these companies who have on-premise solutions will now be thinking, okay, I need to think about cloud far more than I have done in the past. Now, it'd be very easy to go and buy something claiming to be the best thing since sliced bread on the shiniest advert that costs the most money to put out. But actually, what you're about to do could be a turning point in your business and could cost you a huge amount of money and hassle. Okay, your number one problem here and the number one thing you need to think about is that data that's been lying on your server that you can walk in and look at in the morning when you walk into your office and you can touch it, your data's not going to be there anymore. With it being on that server, you're pretty much fully in control of it. The minute you put it in the cloud on somebody else's server, you are no longer in control. So you need to think about that. When you migrate data from an on-premise solution, the likelihood is your new supplier will understand the data structure of your incumbent supplier because they'll have migrated from it before, and they'll be able to come in, pick up the database and migrate it into the new product. Okay, no problem at all. New supplier will charge you for that, but you would expect them to do so. So now your data's with a new provider, you're happy as anything, and you start using the product. Away down the line, a number of things can happen. They could double their prices. They could be bought by another company who then want to migrate you to another product, their go-forward product, and not the one you're using. That's quite prevalent in the legal software industry. A number of things can happen that you need to protect yourself against. Now, the biggest issue is, because you've just moved your data to the cloud, you are no longer in control of it, okay? The only way you have access to that data is through the software that you're using. So you cannot just pick up the database from your server anymore. You need to ask your new provider for it. And guess what? They don't want to give you it. They don't want you to go. They want to retain you as a client. They want to keep getting their monthly money from you. So a lot of suppliers use tactics for retention that I would not class as reputable. Now, to my mind, and you may call me naive, but to my mind, a reputable supplier will go, thank you for being a customer for these however many years. I realize you want to move away now. Here is your data. Okay, because you've made a choice. You want to move away for a reason. Could be service, could be functionality, could be a number of reasons. And that data, in my opinion, is yours, and they should give you it back. But they don't. They say things like, yes, you can get your data back, Mr. Customer. You can run all those reports in our software and you can get the data back that way. Okay, I'm here to tell you, and I would challenge anybody to disagree with me on this. You cannot get all of your data back from a product by running reports. Those reports are there for a purpose, to give you analytical information, to give you information you want to run by reports. They are not there to extract data for you to move to another product. And there's no way in this earth that those reports will give you all of that, all of the data that's in that back-end database. They're then going to say, you need to pay us to give your data back. Now, to me, that is unacceptable. And they may use lines like, well, I need to develop software that allows extraction, so therefore you need to pay me to do that. Well, I'm sorry, I've been paying you for the last however many years on a monthly basis for your functionality and your software. So that's one thing. Or they might say it's an overly complex process to give you your data back. Now, there may be a charge for their time to give you that, take that data off their systems. Personally, I don't agree with it, but at the end of the day, if they have to do something that then provides you with that data, then it's a service they're providing, it's going to happen. But if that price becomes extortionate, it is only there to retain you as a client. They don't want you to leave. I've said it before, they don't want you to leave. Now, I've got an analogy for you with this, and I normally like to have a car analogy, but I can't think of one today for this subject. So if you've got 10K lying in your safe in the office and you decide to put it in the bank, you do not think for a second, you're expecting to get more back. For a second, you're only going to get half it back. Well, think of that analogy when you take your data from an on-premise solution and put it in the cloud, because that is exactly what could happen. So what should you do about this? Okay, you've got to do your due diligence, guys. You've got to read your contracts. A strange thing to say possibly to any solicitors looking, but you've got to check your contracts. Do your due diligence, okay? Make sure there is a clause in the contract that tells you how you're going to get your data back and how you're going to get it back in full. If they refuse to put that in the contract and say you can run reports, run a mile, you're about to give your data away, okay? Plain and simple, you're about to give your data away. If it says they're going to charge you 5K to give you it back, some suppliers do, they'll put it in a contract and say, I'll give you 5K. Well, you need to make sure you're comfortable that if you decide to leave that firm, you're going to have to pay them 5K. As long as you know what the answer is before you sign, at that point, you know what the answer is and you know what's going to happen if you ever move on. Firms do not get into a relationship with software suppliers thinking that they're going to leave in a year's time, but a lot of things can happen. So nail it down, make sure it's in the contract, make sure you know exactly what's going on, because I'll tell you, we come across this every day of the week. So if you're going to move, make sure you've got it sorted. Thank you so much for listening to the end. I hope you found that useful. If you do want any more information, please feel free to just contact me. You can message me on LinkedIn. My contact details are on here. You can email me as well. Yes, I supply legal and property software. And yes, you could possibly be a client of ours, but that's not the reason for this video. I'm so passionate about this. It irks me every single time I find it happening to someone, because you just hear it in their voice when they realize that they're with a company who are not going to give them their data back. So if you want to ask any questions, please do so, or there's a link up here as well to the reputable suppliers white paper that I spoke about from last year. Thanks very much. Have a great day.